initial idea was this: tell a story. To suggest by the one sentence, by the Epiphany, the Joycean sense, what the larger story might be, or to convey the whole story in a single sentence. And then I knew that Suzanne Bennett was here, and she had worked with me on an earlier piece called Openings and Closings. And I said, well, how can we best do this? And I figured distribute the sentences among performers and put them in a circle, facing inward upon an audience that was in a circle facing out. Theater in the round had been an old notion in theater. I'd never heard before of anyone do it with people facing out. Now, I've not seen this performance yet, and I'm as anxious as you are. But I hope you'll be surprised and pleased. And I also think the work is partly about remember the theme of this conference is storytelling. And therefore the work is partly about the exhaustive experience of story. In a very simple sense, you're going to hear more stories in the next hour than you've ever heard in any 1 hour in your life before. On the simplest level. I've completed the circle. Thank you very much. Oh yes, and I should say afterwards I can answer questions.
Get it done.
Let me know what you decide to do with your life. No, we agreed from the beginning that our affair would work best if we saw each other only on Fridays.
She was trying not to notice that I was staring at her freshly naked body, imagining in my fingertips the feel of everything I could see.
When I saw the noose suspended from the ceiling, my initial suspicion was that somebody wanted to put my neck in it.
Come. Yes, come here. Italicized every second word to gain attention.
Since she swore she had not made love to anyone else in my absence, I wondered where she acquired so many new skills.
When the dark clouds burst open, showering us with rain, we knew our marijuana crop would be saved.
All these epiphanies were initially written on 3x5 index cards. No other paper was as conducive to inspiration.
I seem to be falling in love with someone I want to be faithful to.
Like all women professors, she gave lectures that were typically more associational and circuitous than syllogistic and linear.
Rushing, gushing, blushing, crushing, hushing, brushing, flushing.
Teach me, please God, to fall gracefully.
Private school taught me how to think. Public school, how to play.
Mon plus grand désir d'écrire dans une langue autre que l'anglais.
These sentences are all epiphanies, radiantly revelatory moments within longer unwritten stories. After so much miserable dentistry, to have again teeth that were firm enough to cut into sticks.
with our mutual brains and brawn, could produce a whole tribe of brilliant football players.
Though poems of mine have appeared in over 40 literary magazines, none of my departmental colleagues, all of them professors of literature, have read even one of them.
In the German movie house, we saw the Indians scream, but once the fight began, Achtung, flaming arrow! Achtung!
Had she known what I knew, she would not have dove into the ocean.
My sister is also my grandfather's wife's son's daughter, and thus my co-heir to the family estate.
Pleased to see each other, we hit the floor in a preliminary embrace.
No one would believe his claim that nuclear radiation would have no effect upon our bodies. We could feel our hair coming loose from our scalps.
Why should I write paragraphs, I replied, when a whole fiction can be compressed into a single sentence?
I knew my recipe for anchovies pudding would make him kiss my cooking fingers.
The strain of playing the oboe for 40 years had recomposed his face.
He buried his chicken livers in the cold, cold ground.
Cigarettes taste better after marijuana.
In art, new forms initiate new experience, or rather vice versa.
He hung crucifixes from her nipples.
Dark glasses are more profitable than my peg leg for begging on the streets, while the peg leg is more effective on the subway.
Though insisting she was inexperienced, she discovered erotic zones previously unknown to me.
No simple technology known to me is as elegant and as efficient in its operation as the mousetrap.
He taught her about lovemaking as they shifted gears in the driver education course.
Every time I pick up a literary magazine, I can discern signs of my influence, not only in ideas, but in phrases.
Loud sounds near me invariably make my teeth hurt.
She objected, not unreasonably, to the abundance of sexual references in my doctoral thesis.
Closing his eyes, he could hear his brain disintegrate.
He returned every summer to watch his godchild become progressively more nubile.
I have tried to write the most discontinuous, sustained fiction that anyone has ever written or would want to write.
His wife made him apologize profusely for fondling another woman.